Ladies and gentlemen, Friday's session of ESG Week is about to begin. He's been dotting all over the place this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce your host, the Orange Dot.
Thank you, and welcome to Friday of ESG Week. That's right, ESG Week! Every single day this week at 12 PM, we have been live, showing you the ESG solutions that can help you with your ESG data and reporting. Now today I'm such a lucky dot because we have not one, but two speakers. Who is going to be our first ES genius, you might wonder? It is Inphinity! Inphinity will be showcasing ESG initiatives management with Click and Inphinity Suite. Transform your mission-critical processes with data and action. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for Inphinity!
I'd firstly like to start by thanking Differentia for inviting us to be part of their ESG Week. So we're going to be talking about ESG initiatives management with Click and Inphinity Suite. Let me introduce myself. I'm Liza Taylor, and I'm the Business Development Director here at Inphinity. So who are we? Who are Inphinity? We are a Click technology partner and a trusted extension developer. We are a spin-off from Click's master reseller with over 10 plus years in the ecosystem of Click. We support our customers and our partners globally, and we push boundaries of data analytics and unique products every day. We are so driven by our values, our partnerships, and we are told every day how easy we are to work with. So I'd like to move on and talk a little bit about the three products that make up Inphinity Suite. So we have Flow. It's a process, visualization and automation extension tool. It allows you to visualize your processes, your workflows, your hierarchies, really understand and navigate and optimize your data story. We also have Forms, which is our data input extension, which allows you to input data into tables, into single forms. It allows you to upload and attach documents and pictures. And I really see this as a major collaboration tool in Click. So we can add commenting, we can really customize APIs, we can store data into databases, into files, QVDs, etc. in a really governed way. We also have Mole. So Mole is our unstructured data connector. It's absolutely amazing. It allows you to search and analyze all of your unstructured content and the metadata of documents, pictures, emails, and files. So what we'd really like to do is show you Inphinity in action.
In this application, we do have only one sheet. So as I mentioned, very simple.
Yes.
And on the left side, there is the main information about let's say budget for the current year for ESG initiatives. Then we have Infinity forms to manage, to create new initiatives and manage their progress. I'll come back to that later. And naturally, based on that, we always see as a managers how much budget has been spent on ESG initiatives and what budget is still remaining. So this is an opportunity to find another initiative. And the way how managers can think about where to invest the rest of the budget is visualized in Infinity Flow, because this is one of the categorizations. I found multiple different categorizations of ESG initiatives online. So I don't think there is something like a standardized concept, but this has been pretty widely used and makes sense. So I decided to use that one hierarchy in Infinity Flow. So there are some subcategories of Infinity initiatives that can be naturally categorized into those three main areas: environment, social, and governance. So based on the initiatives I put into my Infinity Forms object, I see how much money are about to be spent in a specific subcategory or category, or in a specific area, right? This is the total of these particular investments. And where there is a 0, this is exactly the area or category where I can look for new initiatives or be creative if, as a company, I want to cover all different types of ESG initiatives and projects I can support. When it comes to this Infinity Forms object, it's been developed to promote as many different field types as possible. So it's quite nice also for demo purposes. And especially this drop-down menu current stage. This is something I found in a definition of or a suggested ESG initiative integration process for large companies. So those are like the steps of the process that even large enterprises may be familiar with when it comes to ESG initiatives. So those cool words like due diligence that makes it feel like it's ready to be used also in large environments. It's not only for small companies. So if I want to add new initiative, I can easily, intuitively click on the button New Initiative. Here I have a pop-up with the data I need to, or with the data I can collect about the initiative. Naturally, at the beginning of the process, I don't know all the data. That's exactly the reason why there is still this forms general table, so I can update the information as the initiative goes on through the internal process. When I want to create new initiative, for the demo purposes, I need to enter the ID. Yeah, I didn't spend much time making this ready to be used solution. That's not the main goal. The main goal is this to be a demo application, so as simple as possible. And if someone wants it to be used in their environment, naturally there can be services linked to it. So it can be developed according to what they exactly need. So yeah, here I can enter some ID, name of the initiative, current stage. Logically, we are starting at the first step screening, but if not, feel free to select the other. And then I can describe the initiative by selecting a specific owner, entering budget, category and subcategory, right? So it's linked to this hierarchy we have on the right side. Date when this initiative is about to start, when it's about to end. So as I mentioned, it presents different types of fields in Infinity Forms. I can select also the impact this initiative would make, explain some KPIs linked to the impact, like, for example, 10,000 trees or something like that. Risk profile, again, something that's at least sounds like enterprise thing because they really like to evaluate risks. Notes for IC, and then naturally I can switch whether or not this specific initiative is approved by the investment committee. On the initiative level, you can always come back to Infinity Forms and update information about it. As you go through different stages, here is the traffic light that visualizes different part of the process. So at the beginning, it's not yet started, it's just screening, evaluating the main information about the initiative. Then as you go through due diligence and investment decision, it's like in progress. So it's orange or yellow, I'm not sure how you see it. When it's agreed, when there is investment agreement, it's green. Then the next step is to define owner and mentors if relevant for the initiative. So that's still a go phase. Finished. And there is also the option that it's been declined. And in that case, this status is also visually different. So it's red. And for already existing initiatives, so not the new one, but already existing initiatives, there is also this button notes and issues that allows me to enter longer notes and comments about a specific initiative. And another functionality that's quite often demanded or asked about, especially by larger companies, is the changelog. So I also added it here. When I click on the button changelog, it opens me the full changelog of a specific initiative. So initiative target net zero went through this process, and I can easily see that in the first phase screening, it was created at that day and that time, that it went through due diligence, investment decision, investment agreement, when was it done, who did it, and also details about what's being changed in the data. So it's I really think it represents best of Infinity forms for managing projects or initiatives. Naturally, there can be a process related to it, like a more sophisticated approval process than just going through different current stages and using switch to IC approved. But again, this is demo application. So if someone is interested in how sophisticated an approval process could be, then feel free to present document approval demo application that's already built for that purpose. So naturally, the answer is yes, it can be a sophisticated process. It depends whether or not the customer would need it, but this is a demo application. And based on the data, based on the information we collected, there is the part especially for managers and board members. It's very simple, yet very intuitive. So always green color is environment. This purple color is social. Governance is blue. And I can drill down into a specific category if I want, and see data linked only to that specific selection I have. So that's power of click. And this last thing is a creative usage of Infinity Flow that's used here to be able to select only those initiatives with a specific impact. Like, for example, I want to select only those initiatives that's been evaluated as the most impactful. So I click here and it's filtered and it shows me only those 4 initiatives. If I want to come back to the full list, I click all initiatives. There is also this creative way how Infinity Flow can be used to inspire developers.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our ESG demo, which is available on our Infinity universe. You can start your free trial of Infinity today and start seeing the benefits immediately. Please contact our partner, Differentia Consulting, to find out more. Many thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Infinity! If you enjoyed Infinity's showcase, make sure you check out Wednesday's session by Ian Campbell, where he showed us a fantastic case study of how Click and Infinity were used for ESG. Now on to our second ES Genius of the day. He's the star of the Differentia Consulting YouTube channel and here to talk to you about ESG and football. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand for Stuart Wannop.
The introduction, Orange Dot. Hi everybody, I'm Stuart Wannop from Differentia Consulting. And I'm here to talk to you today about ESG and football, two of my passions, both in work and outside work. So I hope you've had a great week and you've seen our other sessions on ESG. And like I say, I'm just going to talk about the sport in general and football and what measures and activities football clubs are taking and both need to take if they want to improve, obviously, their ESG scores and activities, and ultimately make the planet a better place. So without further ado, I'm just going to quickly share my screen. And yeah, if you've seen the other sessions this week, and you probably know by now that ESG stands for environmental, social and governance, and is particularly important in businesses. And it's the same in football teams. There is actually no difference here. We can group these indicators up into these different sections of environmental, E, social, S, and G, governance. So I'm just going to talk around a few of them now. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about the environmental factors and indicators that football clubs would need to be aware of and potentially measure and track this year, next year, and into the future so they can meet all of their ESG targets. And we can divide the environmental factors into different subsections, really. I won't go through them all, but just highlight a couple here. So, for example, in a football club, obviously, when you've got a match, you have fans travelling to and from stadiums, sometimes nationally, and fans these days will travel the length and breadth of the country just to see their team win, lose or draw. So in terms of transport, clubs would need to look at tracking and reporting perhaps on how fans are travelling to the stadium, both home and away games. And ultimately, in terms of positive activities they can bring to the ESG table, they might wish to provide, if they don't already, provide their own or fan-organised transportation schemes for away games. So that effectively encourages the use of coach trips rather than single-use vehicles going to away games. And some clubs are already offering discounts, for example, for bus tickets and public transport tickets, that these are available upon purchasing match tickets. So they're already encouraging actively the use of public transport. And the club sometimes may promote walking and cycling to the stadium, and a few initiatives they can take there, perhaps provide cycle locking facilities, for example. In terms of waste and energy uses, generally speaking, this does apply to any business, and a football club is no different, of course. But a few of the activities they can undertake is ensuring that the club is separating the waste that's produced, and there is also a waste management policy in place with the objective to ultimately reduce the amount of waste. And water and energy is no different there. Putting water-saving methods in place, perhaps recycling water to water the pitch, etc., before a game is an initiative that they could perhaps take, and also measure that amount of water consumption and report that by each club. And energy is the same thing, really, both measuring the energy consumption using and also taking an activity maybe to actively use renewable energy. So put some methods in place where they want to reduce, if not completely stop, the amount of non-renewable energy consumed, and also look at emissions such as the total CO2 emissions reported by the club. And they should have a climate strategy in place and a net zero commitment with a compensation plan there as well. So other ways that they could get involved in terms of environmental sanitisation, for example. So players can now be involved in environmental sanitisation projects, and also a commitment to raise awareness of environmental initiatives. So that's kind of just a few of the options available in the environmental section. In terms of social, this really is all about, number one, inclusion. Fan engagement, community development, and health and safety as well. These are all simple, measurable activities that can promote social within the ESG. So, for example, in inclusion, we can ensure that match day accessibility information is provided for disabled supporters, and also that the club's website is barrier free as well. Many clubs now offer concessionary ticket prices to encourage access for spectators with lower income levels, just for example. And the club can sometimes invite, and are doing now, the following groups to home games for free, or at least significant reductions in ticket prices. These could be groups such as people with lower income, elderly people, refugees, or potentially other vulnerable groups as well. And they also organise events and activities for the same groups. Fan engagement has always been really big in football, not just to get the bums on seats in the stadiums on match day, but it's also now a vital part of ESG and the social aspect of ESG. So typically, a lot of clubs nowadays work with a fan organisation, such as a supporters trust, or engage actively and regularly with the fans to maintain an open dialogue. Community development is really important as well. Clubs work in local schools and operate youth programs for different groups. The clubs also working with players to ensure the involvement in school and youth programs, and working with other government and non-governmental organisations or community engagement projects. Please say that's happening a lot now with not just Premier League clubs, but definitely clubs throughout England, Wales, and Scotland. Health and safety also falls under the social umbrella of ESG. So many stadiums now, if not all of them, certainly in the UK, are smoking restrictions in place, banning the use of tobacco within the perimeters of the stadium, and many clubs quite strictly enforce that. And also from an alcohol point of view, clubs typically now have a responsible drinking policy. Most stadiums that you go to now, you can't take your alcohol actually into the stadium pitch side. It's got to be consumed sensibly within the concourse. And also, a lot of clubs now are doing sustainably sourced vegetarian and vegan food options, and making these available in the stadium on match day to supporters. Governance is perhaps the least understood aspect of ESG. From a football point of view, there's a lot of different aspects here in terms of governance. So one of those sections will be the organisational structure. So one simple thing that football teams can do is make information on the highest governance body, make that available to people. A lot of clubs now have a constitution and a charter, which basically statutes and charters are made available on the website, along with a code of conduct, which includes things such as anti-corruption policy. Sustainability reporting is all about measuring your sustainability and reporting and being transparent on sustainability activities, which is something that our Cypher app that we partner with can actually help with and measure. And then we start looking at financial sustainability, where financial reports are always available for different clubs, especially in the environment of financial fair play now, and sponsorship. So football does have a bigger supply chain than a lot of businesses nowadays, and their sponsors are actually in that supply chain. So it really is within the remit of the club from an ESG point of view to ensure that sponsors act environmentally friendly and they are also ethically sustainable. And procurement and sourcing, local sourcing and a purchasing policy should be paramount in terms of purchasing perhaps match day food that could be sourced locally and not shipped throughout the country. Again, really good kind of point of governance. So some social examples, for example, some of the big clubs now have local community outreach projects to encourage the playing of sport and healthier lifestyles, and some have established social foundations to further this work. These are often referred to in the business world as corporate social responsibility, or CSR. I mentioned Juventus have that, Bayern Munich and Manchester United. These are big world-renowned clubs. However, it's not really just the big clubs that are doing this and should be thinking about this. So size ultimately doesn't matter. There is actually no correlation between the size of a club and its commitment to ESG. So back in 2018, Forest Green Rovers, currently then playing in League Two, were named the greenest football club in the world by FIFA. And they had such initiatives as having a stadium powered by renewable energy, vegan foods served to staff and players. They were the world's first certified carbon neutral football club, certified the UN, and also things like rainwater being collected and recycled, pitches being cut by a solar powered robotic lawnmower using GPS, and cooking oil being recycled into biofuel. They were just a few of the activities that Forest Green Rovers underwent, to become effectively the greenest club in the football world from 2018. So the point here is really, it's not just about the big clubs, it's about every football club has a responsibility for ESG. So thank you for watching today. That was brief. We got through a lot there. As you can tell, I love football and also passionate about ESG and the environment. So if you want to talk about football and ESG, just ESG, or even just football, just feel free to drop me an email, Stuart Wannop at Differentiate Consulting. Thanks very much for listening today. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you.
A big round of applause for Stuart Wannop, everyone. It's good to know that football clubs can improve their ESG before they even get to kick-off. Whew, I'm scared of football. Footballers just want to kick me all the time. I'm not a ball. Thank you to you for following us all this week for ESG Week. If you missed a session this week, don't fret, because next week we'll be having our ESG Replay Week, where we'll be replaying your favourite sessions from all of ESG Week. So if you missed one, you can still see it. If you have any more questions about ESG, make sure you head over to www.differentia.consulting or send an email to me at marketing@differentia.consulting. I hope you have that Friday feeling. I certainly have. Thank you for attending ESG Week, and until next time, take it ESGzy. Bye for now.